Usually when we're playing this song, it's Halloween, right?
Yeah, right.
Today celebrating the long and profound career of one of the greatest entertainers of all time, Michael Jackson and Thriller. Hayden Panettiere, our guest right now. Were you even born when that came out?
No. Maybe. I don't think old enough to remember.
See, I remember watching that video, and there was like a 30-minute version of the video on MTV.
Right.
And you knew because it was like a mini play, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
Brilliant and scary.
Yeah. Where were you when you found out about the news?
I was at a photo shoot. I was at a photo shoot, and somebody came in and said it, and then there was this back and forth of he's gone, he's not gone, he's in a coma, but he's gone, he's dead. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Yeah, it was one of those stories where you hear it at first and you think it's just a rumor, and then even being here with all the news organization, we weren't quite sure. Well, do we report death yet or not? We were hearing from inside the hospital, but there were reports that he was rushed to the hospital first, then the coma, and then almost immediately after that, heard reports that he had died. But the world just shocked, and everybody that we know influenced by him, especially musicians. I mean, I know you know a lot of the artists.
Oh, absolutely.
But,
he was the Prince of Pop. He was incredible, and it's also just disappointing that I never, because he was going on tour, and I really wanted to go see him perform. That was like a dream. I was like, I just want to go see Michael Jackson perform.
I remember I was sitting downtown a couple of weeks ago, and I was in a bit of a meeting.
Yeah.
And the people in the meeting were the people behind that tour, and they said, this is going to be an amazing show. And I said, well, how's he doing? They said, we think he's doing pretty well. And he really was putting everything into every song, and wanted. I remember they said he wanted this show that we'll never get to see to be the greatest show that anybody had ever walked in to see. So that's, I mean, you can imagine how intense it was and how much he was demanding of himself in those rehearsals then.
Did anyone ever film any of the rehearsals or videotape?
I
Like,
imagine
will there be,
so.
I
imagine
hope
so.
that one day we get to see some of that.
Yeah.
How about Farrah Fawcett too?
I know that too.
I mean, that was like incredible as well, and I know it's hard to not be overpowered by someone like Michael Jackson because his was so much more sudden than hers was, but she still, what a fight that woman went through.
And the LA Times, Michael Jackson above the fold there, and then Farrah Fawcett also on the cover. Actress was a 70s icon.
Tonight, Ryan O'Neal is on 2020. We're going to cry so hard because, of course, they filmed all of that, about a week or two ago. And now tonight that footage airs when he's talking about her and wanting to marry her and how brave she is. So that's happening tonight. They're airing that.
Let's take a break, come back, and shift gears into the world of Hayden Panettiere.
Okay.
All right, I got a lot to cover with Hayden next. Hayden Panettiere is with us this morning live, and she stars in I Love You, Beth Cooper in theaters July 10th as Beth Cooper, the popular girl. The popular girl in school. You were the popular girl in your school then?
I
or did you even go to school?
Popular in school.
But you didn't even go to real school, so it's
until
not fair.
high school, until I didn't actually go to school, and then
That's not even fair. That immediately, I hold a grudge because you have to go to real school.
I would have rather gone to real school. Let me tell you.
You would have rather gone to real school than be
Absolutely.
a star on an NBC primetime show.
But when I was a freshman in high school, I went into homeschooling because I moved to South Africa for about 6 months, my whole freshman year, to do racing stripes. So I got into homeschooling, and then because it was just easier, because some schools, you always have that teacher who doesn't want to send you the homework and who always, doesn't give you credit for doing the work or anything like that. And so it was just made life easier, quote unquote. But it was kind of like going to college. They kind of give you all of these classes, and they go get it done by the end of the year. And you're like, what? You want me to time manage this? And I was never good at time management. Forget it.
But now in this movie, it's a comedy, so different from your character on Heroes, right?
Yeah, very, very different. She's a great character to play, though, because I always love playing characters that have these arcs. I really wanted people to dislike her in the beginning, and
Did you find that easy to portray?
Yes,
to put people off?
Absolutely.
You found that easy to build the wall? I can easily keep people away and build a wall.
Absolutely. And she goes from this really kind of unlikable girl to you realize why she's unlikable, and that she thinks high school is the only place. It's her shining moment in her life, and after high school she's going to amount to nothing. And this guy, Dennis, who she meets, is the valedictorian. And even in school, he wasn't anything. He didn't amount to anything. Definitely wasn't his shining moment. But the rest of his life is what he's going to shine in. So
I think that's very relatable, because I remember when I was in high school and the relationships that I was in, it's like, no, I can't go through this breakup. I'll never date ever again in my life. I'm going to literally die if I break up with you. I mean, everything was so catastrophic, right? If you don't get asked to this, or you do get asked to that, you go with the wrong person to a dance.
It's change, and it's scary, but it's exciting all at the same time. I've always been that kind of person who the thought of change has always been very nerve-wracking, but it's also been like, ooh,
liberating.
Exciting, yeah, absolutely.
So have you finished high school now? You're the real person now.
Yeah.
You have finished high school.
I'm a real person.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a real boy.
Yeah. She's real, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so, are you going to college?
No.
No.
Do you want to?
I feel I do believe in education. I come from a really well-educated background. My mom's whole side of the family, I have 15 alumni from Duke University.
It's too much pressure.
But the thing about college to me is that it's not only a learning experience, but it's also a social experience. It's the first time on your own. It's the first time with money management and discipline, and no one telling you when to go to sleep, when to do your homework. And if you don't want to go to class in the morning, there's no one getting you up going, you have to go to class this morning. So most people wind up hanging by a fingernail by the end of the freshman year going, oh my gosh, I just made it through. And that social experience I just don't think I can have. And I fortunately get the privilege of traveling all over the world.